Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, we'll be talking about how to be an effective manager. This is following on from our previous episode where I explained the differences between management and leadership and what it overall means. Most of us, start from professional roles and go into management either based on desire to go there, or in some cases we are elevated to that position based on the needs of the business, based on the seniority of the person, all those sort of things. Sometimes it's not always the skills that we have or goals that we may have, but it's circumstances that might push us up. But regardless of that, we all have skills that we can utilize, leadership and management skills that we can bring together to accomplish the results that we are after. So management is all about managing scarce resources, basically. That's the definition of it. So that resource might be financial. You might have a tight budget. Tech teams, unless you're a technology startup or a technology-based business or a business that has a CEO who's thinking innovatively out there and investing a lot into technology, if it's most average businesses, technology is seen as an expense, which means you have a finite budget and ever-expanding needs that you are kind of fighting to fit into that budget. Yes, we can put in requests for extra money, but then a lot of the times the amount of justification that you have to do for that is difficult. It's a lot of work, not easy. But as things grow, we need to also start doing that no matter how hard it might be. But there we go, like there's financial management that we've got to do. And in almost any management position, there are some management positions I've seen where the technology manager is the only person for the organization that deals with technology. It's just a title and probably a pay bump that they get. But other than that, they're doing everything from level 1 support all the way up to design, architecture, and planning and visioning and all that sort of thing. So that's a difficult role to be in. And in my earlier roles, not the very early ones, but the ones in the middle, I was in that kind of situation. Even though I didn't have a title of a manager, I had to do the whole stack. So I understand the challenges that comes from being that one person IT team and IT manager and technology manager and all that sort of thing. It is a challenging position to be in because you've got to mentally split yourself doing big picture things, managing vendors, managing resources, finance, everything comes in your plate. So, it's something to think about and appreciate even yourself if you're in that sort of position, that you are doing multiple people's jobs as that one person. And we don't, like a lot of us who end up in these engineering and technology sort of fields, don't tend to appreciate ourselves for the kind of work that we do, kind of effort that we put in, and the results that we create as well. Because there is that tendency to get the result, move on to the next project, and you've completely lost track of it. And at the end of the day, look back and go, what have I done this year? What have I done this month? Whatever it might be. But there's a lot that you have done. And I think in some ways, having some form of record helps you to appreciate yourself, that you've actually put in the work, you've actually gotten the result that you were after. And even if no one else gives you appreciation, there is an evidence for yourself to go, look, actually I've done all these things this month or this year, whatever it might be. So that's something to do. But then you have, if you're in a situation where you have team members, then you have people management. That can be challenging. We are all humans. We all have different emotional needs, psychological needs, all of that. And we have different opinions, beliefs. All of that need to be managed. And in a team environment, there's egos that need to be managed. There's, conflicts that arise. All of that as a manager is, on your plate. You've got to manage your people. You've got to make sure that they're motivated, they're inspired to do work, and they are getting what is meant to be getting done on time, under budget, and all of that sort of things. So, you've got to build those skills that'll help you with managing those resources. In terms of dealing with people, do courses to help you improve communication skills, no matter how good you are with communication. It's one of those things that is a leveraged growth. Better you get, more influence you have, and better you can communicate with your staff, better you can lead them and ensure that outcomes are reached while your staff are also fulfilled and doing their best work. So and things like skills like communication are intangible, so it's hard for us to sort of say, I was here, now I've got 20% growth in, how I can communicate. But it's one of those things that you've got to keep investing in without being able to see tangible benefits. The first the first probably 20 or 30% of the effort and everything that you put in, you'll see significant differences. But once you've gotten that foundation of results, foundation of your communication, everything done, beyond that you see very small increases which are not visible on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, but on a longer term you can see the difference that it's made in your career, in your life, in how you relate to people, how you deal with situations. And there's other skills. We've touched on financial. Again, you don't have to become an accountant for that, but understanding P&L in a sense, even though you wouldn't be doing profit loss as such, you'd be doing more expenses and categorization of those expenses, how those expenses benefit the business. In places where I've been able to get funding for big projects and also increase the budget of technology spend year on year, it's usually been because I've been able to tie those requests back to tangible benefits that the business leaders want to see. And they are always looking for tangible benefits. And if you can show them what the project that you're planning to implement, or even a subscription that you're trying to upgrade, brings, what kind of benefit it brings to the business, and how it protects the business or protects the assets of the business, or whatever it might be, put that as part of your substantiation. There is a tendency for some people to go, I've got all these line items, I'm getting my funding every year, I don't have to substantiate it, it's fine. Not really. Yes, maybe on a rolling basis they might look at, you've asked for $120,000 for this particular system this year and $125,000 this year because it's gone up due to inflation or whatever. It goes on. But the thing is, if every year you're actually showing the benefits of why that $120,000 or $125,000 is being spent, they look at it and go, oh, okay, that's why they're doing it. I'm not gonna, or else there's always pushback from your CFOs and your financial controllers going, why do we need $125,000? Can't we push it down, like cut costs there? That's the thing that we have to deal with. If you can sell it to the points that they're looking at, i.e. if they're looking at maintaining compliance, if they're looking at maintaining productivity, whatever they are looking at, always know what they want and tie it back to what they're looking for. What your business leader, i.e. CEO, is looking for, what your financial controllers are looking for, and then tie the projects, tie the expenses, everything back to that, so that it helps you in getting those budget items pushed through a lot smoother than if you didn't have anything there. And then you have to get called into meetings, you have to pull all the data and then try to show them all the data and try to create the narrative around it. Difficult. If you do it on your own proactively, it saves you a lot of trouble. And then you have resources in terms of workload. You are the one who has to manage your team's workload. So they have 7.5, 8 hours, whatever it might be, that is paid by the business for their time, for their skills, for their effort. And it's up to you to sort of go, look, this project might take 2 hours. So, and then you have open communication with your team members so that if it's gonna go beyond that 2 hours, they can actually come to you and transparently say, look, I tried this, and this. I thought it'll finish within 2 hours, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to be another half an hour, whatever it might be. That is part of your role. And because when people above you ask you the question of why this is not done at this particular time, or why the team member needed more time, whatever it might be, you're the one who has to step up and answer. Then beyond this, you have other relationships that you have to manage. Stakeholder relationships. It could be executive management. It could be your manager, which could be a middle manager or upper level manager. It could be your end client. They're all stakeholders from different standpoints. So managing them, again, expectations, conflict resolution, all of these things come into here. And your ability to sell and your ability to influence is very important. Those of us who tend to go into engineering and technology fields naturally have less of those abilities, naturally. That doesn't mean we cannot learn. It's like every other skill, we can learn it, do courses, read books, and then implement it in your life, in your communication, in your management field. And then you have vendor management, managing vendors. They say they'll supply something at whatever time, under whatever guidelines, and doesn't happen. And then how do you manage that? There's conflict management that you have to do. You can't, there's a negotiation that you always have to do to maintain that relationship, because as long as you have that vendor relationship, you want to make sure that you're the kind of person that they pick up the phone on the first ring. That means you need to be able to negotiate, influence, and again, communicate well. Even if you're angry, you need to be able to tone that down, bring across the relevant facts while not emotionally attacking or, being someone that they don't want to talk to again. So, and then there's contract management. Again, in some roles, you're it. So you have to manage all these things, legal, compliance, all of that from your technology stack. But if you're in a big organization, you'd have people who are competent in each of those areas who can do those things for you. So as you can see, management as such, in any management role, you have little bits of all of this and even some more depending on what your role, specific role requires. So always keep investing in yourself to learn the skills required to be able to do that management well. So managing people, psychometrics is a really good field to get an understanding of. It gives you an understanding of what makes people tick, and you can help them shine. You can utilize their strengths. You can help them feel fulfilled at work, which at the end of the day means that you can get the results that you want while being authentic and caring about them on their terms. So that for each of those areas, there are skills that you can learn. And things that I find have significant leverageable quality is sales, because it includes communication and influence. Influence in and of itself. Psychometrics to understand personality types and how they deal with things. And some form of marketing. Mostly, I would say some form of technical writing, copywriting, because it helps you write with the user in mind. These skills help you then do every other aspect of your management better. So if you're putting in a proposal, you can write it in an influential way that sells the project well, that helps you get the funding that you need. If you're working with vendors, having the ability to negotiate and help them understand the value that you bring to them and the value that they bring to you as a mutual thing, rather than it being a one-sided thing from one way or the other. It's not just about them selling, it's not just about you buying. It's about getting that end result together as a partnership. So negotiation, selling yourself, influence, all of that make a significant difference. And because I was able to bring in these skills into my roles, when I worked with vendors, I was able to get significant discounts on projects, significant discounts on licensing, and significant support from them that I wouldn't have been able to get normally without paying a huge amount for, because we had good relationships. They would get, look, I'll get my senior engineer to come and talk to your senior engineer and get that problem sorted. Gratis. It's happened. That's because of relationships. So managing your vendors, again, influence. So hopefully this has helped you understand what you can do in terms of procuring, getting the skills that you need and improving yourself to be an excellent manager. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll continue to add more valuable videos like this. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know by leaving a comment below, and I look forward to helping you. I wish you all the best in your career and in your life and everything that you do. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. See you soon.